It's another day, another episode, more all about Counter-Strike. What is it? What is this starting point? The starting point is I'm actually back home. I didn't film on some craziness, like didn't decide to do it straight after London. We had a crazy early flight. Do you know what actually? I'll tell you what happened on my way home. I posted on Instagram stories already. So I was stupid and kind of messed up. My flight was 6 a.m. So I should have really been on the way to the airport at 4 a.m. I set my alarm for 4 a.m. So I like woke my wife up with like absolute crazy panic. Wasn't fun. Yeah. Imagine you're stressing woman out like
I've
this.
been there. I've done that a few esports events.
And so like it's not a good start to the day. Anyway, we get the Uber driver, just a typical London guy, cool as hell. He's like, it's 4 a.m. There'll be no police around. He's like, we'll just zoom. Bro, he gets a fucking flat tire. The tire pops when we're going. And guess what? We're on the motorway. And I'm then trying to. So, by the way, he was real cool. Like, he's like, don't worry, like, we'll find a way. He was even trying to, like, he didn't have a spare tire, but he was trying to see if he could inflate the tire while it would like get us a little bit further. We were like 10 minutes away from Heathrow Airport. And yeah, it was not happening. Like that tire was screwed. It was screwed. It was GG. So I managed to order another Uber, but this Uber driver's confused because he's picking me up on the middle of a motorway and he's going around some other way. By the way, this is 4 a.m. that I'm trying to get picked up on a motorway. It sounds like if I'm an Uber driver, I'm not accepting that. I'm not accepting that at all. This sounds like where you get your car robbed. We are in London, remember? It's not normal activities.
Yeah, all
Anyway,
of a
guy
sudden,
picks us.
Banks runs out of the woods with a machete and just tries to.
So we get in this other guy's car. We get to the airport. Bro, 2 minutes before baggage drop ended, we got the bags through. Oh my God, the stress was unreal. Because I was thinking, if I didn't make it, I would have been stuck in London for hours because the only way back to Ukraine is like, it's difficult. We go to Slovakia and then we have to drive across from Slovakia, but there's only 2 flights a day to the airport we go to in Slovakia called Kosice. It's a very small place. There's like 2 flights a day we can take that go there. So we made it. That's the only reason we can have this episode. London was amazing. We're going to get into all of that good stuff in just a little bit. But how have you been, mate? What have you been up to? Watching some CS? Grinding Deadlock?
Yeah, basically both of those. No, but watching CS primarily, I think I thoroughly enjoyed this tournament, but that we're obviously going to talk about in a little bit. Had a good time. Just been chilling, having a good time at home. Haven't done anything crazy. I can't remember at least. So
I can't remember.
no, actually, I did. So me and my girlfriend, we called kräftskiva in Swedish. It's basically you have a bunch of crayfish and shrimps, and you have alcohol,
Okay.
and you have like garlic bread and some like kind of cheesy pies and stuff like that.
Okay.
And we have like silly like crayfish hats on and stuff like that. This is like a tradition in Sweden.
It's a tradition in Sweden, of course.
Yeah.
Do you have some surströmming as well?
No. It's not for this party. It's another type of party.
Okay.
And you drink hard liquor, as you do it, as you kind of
Just you two.
yeah, just us two. But usually you have
Okay.
it bigger kind of setting. But we thought, why not?
This
Why
was
not
your
make it a
wild
little
night
bit
at
of a
home.
date? Yeah.
So maybe you don't remember what happened. Maybe that is the bit you lost your memory at, and you don't know actually how the night ended.
Well, I did remember it, but I had to Google what the actual name of crayfish was in English. Obviously, I knew in Swedish, but I had no idea how to explain it.
How's your rank on? Was it called Deadlock? Yeah, Deadlock. Sorry, I nearly called it Overwatch.
It's embarrassingly low right
Oh,
now. I
and
have
you're
to
very
say, I think
competitive.
I'm emissary. Last time I can't remember the ranks, but I was one from the best rank, one rank up from. So
And you're dropping down.
yeah, because obviously I haven't played in a year since I started this time. So yeah,
So we need to relearn a bit of Devilwalk in there.
Yeah.
Get used to the
And
game.
you're hyping up for a game tomorrow.
I'm still, tomorrow, Dragon Ball Squadra does release. You said it looks terrible. You said it looks like a Switch game, but it is meant for mobile. It will be played on PC. I played both betas. I am so excited that I have not got any work for a little bit of time, and I am just going to be playing that on my PC, on my phone, on my Switch, whatever I can grind. If my wife has a doctor's appointment that I must attend, I will just be grinding that game on the side, saying nothing. If she goes shopping, I will also be grinding it at the same time.
So next episode, if BanKs looks tired, not because of traveling, it's not because of anything of that, it's because he's been grinding this Dragon Ball game.
I can imagine, right? First day, depending on what my wife says we need to do in that day, I'm feeling like a 12+ hour stream. Get early, high rank, smash all the noobs who didn't play before, just overpower them. Anyway, let's get into the Counter-Strike. Let's do our usual thing. It is the 8th of September, 2025. This is episode 25, the silver episode of the All About Counter-Strike podcast. Thank you very much for joining us. I hope you guys have had a great day, morning, evening, whatever it has been, depending on when you're watching. Maybe you're listening to us when you go to sleep. Some of our viewers do. Maybe you're one of the audio listeners only. That means you don't see our ugly faces. That's probably the best way to do this. But you do get to hear our lovely voices to guide you through this all. And, well, let's just start with it, right? Blast Open London. I just got back from it. It was something's amazing. The Counter-Strike was great. Obviously, we're going to get into the matches and stuff. Actually, I can take this moment to say one thing, because Blast production is always top tier, like super good. Never have I had this problem ever. And it kills me because it's London, so it's more special for me and I want it to be at my best. But you heard probably my voice was so bad Saturday and Sunday, because on Friday we had like a little audio problem, and you'll see me, I flick my ear, the earpiece out of my ear so I can continue doing my job. I couldn't hear my voice properly. One point it was like double audio, and another point I just didn't hear my microphone in my ears, which meant I couldn't control my vocal cords or my levels, myself. So I'm belting and I'm trying to cheer, and I basically cooked my voice. Now, it's just a mistake that can happen, right? We're always moving this equipment around. I wasn't complaining at Blast or blaming anyone. But when you're going for it and you're trying to be like, are you ready? And everything else, and you can't control it, bro, it hurt. My voice was in pain. And I just felt so sad that the next two, like Saturday, when I wanted to ramp up a bit more, I had to tone it down and I had to save it all. Like I think I did Mouz walk in for the Mouz Vitality game. And my voice died on the Mouz bit, and I had to drink some water while voiceovering into the. So that for me is like, I'm so sorry to all the fans and all the people listening that it wasn't full hype, full energy, everything I normally do, because I was so excited to be back on the stage. I haven't been on stage since I don't know when I was last on stage, because I wasn't on stage at the major either, really. So yeah, it's what I love to do. It's what fills me up, but I'm disappointed that happened. Sometimes these things happen. You just have to deal with it, but I got on with it. I took tons of medicine and things. But the crazy thing is just the Counter-Strike was good. So let's start looking at the playoff bracket and just how it all went down, how the land
We could
finals were.
chime in with our terrible predictions that we had as well.
Oh, you want to start with that?
Yeah, we might as well get the pain out of the way right now.
Well, let's start with the positives then. Quarterfinals won. We both said Mouz over M80.
Yeah,
Big surprise, shock, horror. But then quarterfinal 2 Devilwalk. You want to start?
Yeah, sure. Let me actually get this. I'm actually on the wrong page here. So obviously, I picked FaZe and you picked G2. To be fair, FaZe should have won that Dust 2.
True, I'll give you that.
FaZe should have definitely won that Dust 2. But G2, that. I mean, overall, they were just a better team. I think I wasn't surprised that they won, but I was surprised maybe about the way they did it, because they looked sharp. I think they to me kind of look like maybe a powered up Mouse in some sense, that no one is really the superstar. Um,
Okay.
and I think they may be a little bit more tactically advanced than Mouse usually are.
Wait, when we get onto G2 at the end of this, because obviously we know what happens, I've got
Yeah.
some truth knowledge bombs of what I learned from some of the players on G2. Like, it's wild out here. This episode is going to be special just for some of the things I'm hearing and learning from this position.
Yeah, but they look great, and I mean,
Mm-hmm.
every single individual stepped up. Even think like Sampaius had his moments. He was maybe the one that looked a little bit less of all
Yeah.
of them, but he still pulled his weight. And if they can unlock Sampaius even more, this team, oh, they could be a hell of a challenger.
Well, looking at this FaZe game, right, the thing
Yeah,
that got me is Inferno. I'll be honest, Jacob never played that map on his own old team, so I'll give him a pass, right? But it's a G2 specialist map. They're very comfortable on it. Everyone's doing good. Cool. I didn't expect maybe the scoreline, but I'll say I expected the result on that map. The
yeah,
Dust 2, what got me is it was 12-10 for G2. They're racking up T-side round after T-side round. Then last two CT rounds go to FaZe, and I think, okay, FaZe, overtime, back on their FaZe stuff that they do best, And the overtime was very back and forth, right? Definitely FaZe had chances in it. But they were 15-13 up. Then it goes to overtime again. We go into second overtime, and G2 just reach another level. And when they closed that out in that way, I went, I'm a little bit worried for Furia. Because I was very confident on Furia before this. And it was just the fact that Matty's first ever stage experience. Obviously, same for Jacob on the FaZe side. But it's
yeah,
like there's a lot going on within this whole game. Hunter also inexperienced IGL. And we'll cover more on FaZe, right? Because obviously, once again, everyone's like, Rain needs to be kicked. Carrigan should coach. This same thing. I'm like, guys, let's be honest. Jacob's first ever big event with FaZe. They've thrown him into. So Eddie and Carrigan came to me. Eddie, for people who don't know, is like the team manager, but he's actually got a higher up position within FaZe. He's always with the CS guys. Legendary character. So funny. They actually said, like, I requested an interview with him, and I was half expecting maybe them to say, like, no. But they want to throw him into the deep end and be like, get him into it all. Get him doing it all. And
yeah.
Eddie even said, he's like, I'm glad it's you doing an interview. And I said to him, like, we can start the interview from the beginning when you want. We can go through the questions together beforehand. Like, I'll make it as easy as possible and comfortable. Luckily, I met him back at PGL Bucharest as well when he was with his Polish squad. But he wasn't doing any interviews then. Like, they were always putting someone else forward for it. I think his first interview from being in an arena and stuff wasn't bad. Wasn't the worst for a player I've done who's done their first one. But I knew from that point that he was going to have a tough series. Because everything was overwhelming him, bro. He was everywhere. He was everywhere. And remember, FaZe get a lot of support and cheers. And also on that game, it was for the FaZe game, it was packed out. And there was a lot of people like G2 were getting booed, FaZe were getting cheered. But it doesn't matter if you're getting cheered if you still don't know how to handle all of this stuff and everything that's going on around you,
No, you did mention that. I mean, even in last episode, that was one of the reasons you thought that G2 would actually nudge it out. And there's a good
Yeah.
point to that. But for me, it was just Brokey never really got to shine the way that I saw him previously. So I think that kind of fell flat. I do think Brokey is kind of faces win condition pretty much every
He,
single time right now.
he had a stinker. He had it
Yeah.
like, I'm not looking for him to do the same stuff we saw him do online straight away. But I mean, I think we hyped him up a lot, and then I got a quick reality check. But I want to get your thoughts on this. I'm not going to be so complaining or critical of this phase because they were back in the playoffs. This is to me a positive step forward, even with a brand new young player. Like, I don't see this as negative like some of the community is saying?
No, I think it depends on how you view it. Obviously, a lot of people get kind of caught up in the wind of like, FaZe is back, Broke is back, he's
Yeah,
gonna
yeah,
destroy
yeah.
everyone. And it's easy to kind of get swept into all of that. But at the end of the day, FaZe isn't a top 4, top 5 team in the world. They're sitting in
Not right
that
now.
growth period where they drop down way into. I mean, I'd probably put them in somewhere in between 8th to 10th in the world, somewhere along those lines.
Yep.
And I think they've started to stabilize, because I think with the least they were kind of just being a disappointment after disappointment, and now
Yeah, dropping
we've
down.
seen them. They look better. They look more like a team. They play more like a team. They seem to be enjoying the game a lot more. You could see it in their facial expressions. Obviously, they're annoyed when they're losing stupid rounds and stuff. Everyone would be,
Yep.
but you can see some positive signs, and I think as much as you take a newbie and you bring it into the top tier of Counter Strike, or newbie is maybe a harsh word, but at least someone new to tier one. Um, and like you say, you throw him into the deep end with interviews, all these kinds of different expressions that you kind of have to deal with at first. I think it's a good thing they do it, so they get used to
Yeah.
it. So next time, it doesn't really bother me as much. But I think it's
Yeah.
still positive. I think Jacob has done a pretty decent job, considering what is kind of asked
He's
of
n-
him.
he's not wowed, but he's had some clip moments, some multi kills where I'd say, okay, I can see it.
Yeah,
That's what I'll give him on this. Um, but what I did love, what I heard from Carrigan in the interviews was FaZe have just stacked up the tournaments they're going to.
yeah.
Like they're going to be at Fissure. I think they're going to be then EPL. Are they doing Chengdu? I can't even remember if they're on the Chengdu team list or not, but I think so. Like there is a lot. Let me check now. Let me. Cause I don't want to say they're doing Chengdu if they're not. Oh no, it's like 24.
They're doing Fissure, EPL,
Yeah.
Chengdu, CS Asia Championship.
Yeah. See, so that's what I mean. They're on a grind right now. And guess what? It's to make sure for the major that they're in the best form possible. And just to say this, Carrigan, obviously, he doesn't have any kids yet. He's got a wife still, but like they'll be on the road. They'll be grinding a lot. This is going to be full hardcore. Rain with 2 kids at home, like they want this. They want to bring back the form. Like I'm not doubting their motivation if you're entering this many tournaments before the major to get us battle hardened, stage ready, official game ready, and that's a positive sign for me.
But you also have to look at from the side. They obviously met a G2 who's,
Better than we
incredible.
expected.
Yeah,
Better
they
than
were,
we expected.
they were incredible. Like,
Yep.
you have to give it to. I think one of the criticizing moments, everyone's kind of had this kind of Hunter being that in-game leader. Can they pick up enough T rounds? Can they actually call great Counter Strike?
Yep.
And I think even in this game, obviously 8 rounds T side on Inferno to kind of start that streak off. They got 6 on Dust too. So I think in that term, especially with I think we all look at CS2 as very T-sided, but it's gone more and more towards that CT side, so it's evened out a little bit. So I think
Economy helping for
that's a
that.
very respectable T-side number. I'll even check if how many pistols did they win. They did win pistol and Inferno, both pistols, and on Dust 2, they lost both pistols.
Mm-hmm.
So picking up 6 T-side rounds without a
Despite
pistol,
all that,
that is actually great.
we'll come back onto the G2 Glazing. I want to save that for when we get more towards it, right? I think that's enough on FaZe. We can go on to Mouz M80.
Yep.
I'll say for this quarterfinal, this game already told me that Mouz would not beat Vitality because it's nothing against M80. They did so good, beating Navi, beating VP, benching, Electronic, But M80 could have won Ancient. They had their chance at that. They really could. And then they win Mirage off a 10-2 CT start, which was incredible. They got every opening imaginable, and Mouz were like playing 4v5 the majority of the game. Like they were just lost. Okay, a little bit of a bounce back in the end, but still, Mouz, we spoke about it, T-side problems. Only thing is, then on Inferno, they did slap M80. I want to see that kind of response for a team of Mouz's level, because you like, if it got close, I would have been mega worried. But I'll touch on M80 a little bit because it's kind of interesting. It's just that Hex adds a lot. They look like a better team in terms of the vibes. Could be just a honeymoon period. They themselves said on interviews, Hex is a vibes guy, right? They're enjoying this. But also, bro, when I'm doing my intro, they're warming up for the game. Slacks, the AWPer of the team, is filming me doing the opening because he's like happy that this is happening. You know, they're all on their first stage. Doesn't matter how long we spoke about Hex for, all on their first stage. And I'll say this for M80, you have the two best German players in the game right now, and it's not on Big Clan. And you're placing higher than Big Clan on a North American side. It's wild. And Sin used to play for Big Academy. Like, he could have been yours, you know?
Didn't he play for the main team as well?
Maybe he did. Maybe I'm forgetting.
I'm pretty
you're right.
sure
Yeah,
he
yeah.
did.
He had nearly a year on the main team.
I think he played there with Keto, maybe?
When they were swapping them out. But the thing is, this M80 deserves some respect for what they did. People can say it's online or whatever else, but they still pushed Mouz around a bit on a stage. They were enjoying the moment, and I'll give them a lot of credit for what they were able to do here. It was a legitimate run, and one they will get more experience from as well. And also, Mouz was just getting booed. I know Def's British, but like the fact that Mouz was getting booed continues to just amaze me, because I thought Mouz should have got some love in London, but instead it was everyone against them, all on M80. M80 had the crowd behind them. I think they had fun even though they lost. Like, for me now, it's M80 did good, but now I need to see him in the next couple of events and prove to me that you can do it again. Don't make this a one-off thing.
Yeah. The one thing you should definitely credit them, because I think if they went into this game, they fucking get smashed by Mouz 2-0. They didn't have anything to show for it. Everyone would just call them onliners. But at this point, you know, they proved that they could do it on a stage. They could push, you know, one of the best teams in the world into kind of a corner where, you know, if a few rounds happened a little bit differently, they could have actually stolen this to a 2-0. So, you know, a lot of credit goes to them. I think it's actually pretty incredible what they've managed to achieve in such a short period of time, or at least during the break, because they did not look good at the end or towards the summer break. Last, what is it? Last season, so to say. But yeah, super good. I think they look really good as a team. They seem to understand each other on the server. I think my worry for Mouz a little bit is, as you say, the T sides. They have such amazing CT sides, and they seem so gelled and good on the CT sides, but can't really make it work on T side. And I'm not sure what it is, but they shouldn't have to always rely on those CT sides to win games. It seems like, yeah, I don't know what to say. They lose a pistol, and maybe they're a bit screwed, you know?
Yeah. And this is it, right? They beat Vitality back at Cologne. That was such a good moment for them. Obviously, they go on to lose the grand final in a devastating fashion. And I thought maybe this could be a mental turning point, but Vitality was just all over them in this semi-final. But there was no chance for Mouz in this game. I don't care. I don't care what anyone wants to try and say. There was maybe some rounds that could have been the swing rounds. There was never a point in that game that it looked like Vitality lost control and everyone was playing as they should be. That was back to, I'm not going to say the best Vitality, but it was back to me saying, okay, we've got the trophy winning Vitality here. That for sure.
Yeah, I think a lot of it is Saivu. I think like he is just incredible, and when he plays like this, it feels like to some degree you or me can join up in their team and get a couple of frags just because of how the positions he kind of puts them in and the security they have, leaving him alone on spaces or letting him entry for them or whatever he just decides to do in the round.
Yeah.
He's just so incredible. It's hard to find words, and I think his awareness kind of popped right in back because I was worried about that kind of before this tournament started. The previous tournaments he looked a little bit off. He looked like he got caught off guard, something I'm not used to seeing Saivu in, and now you just
He did
see
say
him
he was
being
sick though.
100% aware of every situation. Yeah, he might have been sick and that might have
Yeah.
been the cause
It
of
might
it,
have
but
actually been truth, not one of these ones where, oh, I'm sick, I'm
yeah.
just playing bad. No, this could have actually, because there is a difference. There was a night and day difference in this.
Yes. And when he's on point, there's even been, interviews with like Jim Putt. I saw an interview like who has the best kind of. I think they're building a CS player, like from HLTV. I think they did some segment on this, where Jim Putt is just saying like Saivu is the smartest. He's like the best brain for CS because
Yeah.
you think you're outplaying him and he knows exactly what you're doing. Like
he's like, fall for my trap. Do what you
yeah,
think you're gonna do. I'm waiting for you. Bang.
and and that's the scary part about Saivu. It's not only that he, it's obviously great aim and has this incredible ability.
Yeah.
He can make it look so easy for anyone.
And also give some credit to Flamesy as well, because he'd had a stinker since after the major. He wasn't at his usual level.
Yep.
But this event, he was having impact. He was getting the crazy jumping kills with the SMG all the time. He was taking the right peaks. The team was better playing off that kind of gel that he can add to it with a bit of chaos thrown into the mix. And obviously, yeah, that's what we can look at in the Mouz game. But we'll talk a little bit more about Vitality going into the finals, because obviously they did beat Mouse. But then, do you know what? I honestly expected the semi-final to be such a banger. I thought G2 Furia was going to be the semi-final that was like a grand final, you know?
Yeah.
I was so looking forward to this Devilwalk. I was like, Molodoy, he's so chill with it on the stage. Fallen's playing well. Quesarado's up there at the same time. Bro, that like Fallen in the exit interview with me was just like, they played better, they shot harder. We were not there. Like, this was not the same Furia. And it's sad because obviously they beat Spirit, they beat Mouse, they qualified all the way to semis. I felt like it would have been better if they started in the quarters.
Yeah. I mean, I have to be honest, like this game, there was probably zero excitement for me watching it because at
Yeah,
every single
yeah.
moment, G2 just had full control and you're just waiting
Oh,
for Furia to get one back. And it just didn't happen. And then, you kind of want that excitement, what ifs coming in. And
yeah.
sometimes you see that. And at this game, there was literally nothing. I didn't feel any excitement watching this game at all.
Do you know what Fallen told me as well? He was like, oh, when Molodoy's having a good day or a good game, we call it a Molo day. And I was like, okay, that's pretty cool. Like, that's a nice play on words of it. And he's like, I hope he's gonna have a Molo day today. And I spoke to Molodoy, by the way. I saw him before he went on stage, and he was like, I'm so ready. He always have his headphones on. He's getting in the zone and getting ready. He's not bothered by this, but like, no, like I don't think they were ready for G2. G2 played so fearless, and once G2 knew they had him, they were all over him. Was this the? Wait a sec. It was the Inferno, Inferno, HeavyGod, Sunpias, and Matys. By the way, this was also. I'm just gonna look at this. Sunpias T side didn't have to do so much because they didn't play many rounds, but like he was absolutely unstoppable, uncontrollable, and then a 3.1 rating on his CT side.
Yeah, that's pretty ridiculous having 132 ADR as an AWPer.
Oh, Oh,
But to be fair, they did probably play against what, 2 ecos and 3 gun rounds, something like
yeah,
that.
dude, it was crazy. So that sets us up for the finals, yeah.
Yeah.
And Vitality G2, the most unexpected final. I think a lot of people I saw putting FaZe going through. I think you had FaZe until Furia, didn't you? Yeah, you had FaZe first,
Yep.
then Furia. We both thought Furia would be in the final. We were both massively wrong. G2 is the one that slides in. Vitality's there. And honestly, when I looked at this game, the veto advantage is just sitting completely with Vitality. Like that, I was looking at this and thinking, okay, G2's cooked here. G2's best opportunity would be Inferno, and Vitality can play it to a high level. And then we go into the first map of the grand final. G2 dominate 10-2 first half. I blinked and I missed it. I was actually filming some like crowd, like crowd interviews, talking to fans. Bro, I had to run back.
No,
Michael Jesus in my
I
ear,
was
and he's
like
like,
10.
go, go, go.
I think I was like 10, 15 minutes late to starting the stream.
You missed
And
half of it.
the whole map was almost over. I was like, what the hell? I was like,
dude, the
what,
arena
what
was
just
still
happened?
the arena was still figuring out what was happening.
People were still finding seats and the game was over.
Getting their beers, getting sat down, got the hot dog in hand. Oh, it was a spectacle. It was a great start. It was an insane start, right? But I'll give it to Zywoo especially, because we've spoke before about sometimes Zywoo is not the one to change a game. Well, on Mirage, he said, no, no, I will not stop. I will not go down like this. And also, I think something that I don't think too many people spoke about was the fact that every grand final that G2 have been in, they've won. They've only not won the tournament by not making it to the grand final. So if they made it there, they've always won. So this was the first time they lost the grand final.
Wait, what do you talk? Vitality, you mean?
Vitality, yeah.
I thought you said
First
G2.
time. No. First time they've lost the grand final. And that's so their stat line going into it is crazy. Like their mentality is, we're in a grand final again. We're going to take the trophy. We're going to get this done.
So Zywoo had 30 kills in 19 rounds of play of Mirage. Let's just say that first.
Yeah.
He had 4 assists and 6 deaths. 125 ADR. And this new stat, this is the highest I've ever seen it. Plus 18% swing round. With a 255 rating. On the T side, he had a 3.92 rating.
Bloody hell.
That's 16-0 on the T side.
He started off the T side pistol with the ace as well.
And that ridiculous shot against the guy jumping car, it's like one-tapping people. He looked, I don't even know how to describe it. He looked absolutely unstoppable. Like, there was nothing. Like, you could see all the shots. It was amazing shots. The crowd went wild every time they saw Zywoo. I don't even know. I thought it was over by when I watched that Mirage. It felt like Vitality was able to kind of shrug that dust to victory for G2 away, and it kind of continued into the next map of Overpass, which obviously again was super impactful from Zywoo. Drops was getting in there, Flames was getting there, G2 didn't have a chance, and it just looked like okay.
Also, historically, Overpass, like Hunter with Nico, at least, like Nico would never play that map, so it was always like a perma ban. So like it's not a map I expect them to be good on. They obviously knew they would have to play this, right? Because they removed,
I think it's always been kind of a saw map with Snappy and the guys. I think they've always respected Overpass.
But this was they at times they looked lost. We can talk about Hunter being some very good calling on his T side. You could see the uncomfortableness that was being shown. I don't even know that's a word. I might have just made that up, but it was hella uncomfortable. It was not good.
I mean, to be fair, it's probably the hardest map to both call and play on the T side
Yeah.
in the game. Maybe Nuke is a case for it as well, probably. But I still think it's so hard if your default falls apart playing against someone like Saivu on A. What are you
Hmm.
gonna do? Like maybe you're playing it perfectly and he just destroys you. But there was a lot of times they were in good positions, but they just got flanked by the B players out from short or underground. They came behind the lines of the guys, pulling the nades for them on A executes,
Yeah.
and it just looked chaotic as you mentioned. Like Vitality found the timings and they just punished them hard.
And honestly, going into Inferno, yeah, I expected this to be 3-1, Vitality win. They last time played Inferno, it was at Cologne, 13-5 in Vitality's favor. And remember, this is like G2's almost insta pick against most teams, yeah? But they're always picking Inferno when they get the chance. And I'll say this, like, there was a lot of moments where you had no idea what was happening. The amount of opening kills G2 was getting, but then still some rounds Vitality would bail themselves out of it. The 1v2 clutch on A site from Apex, I thought that was going to seal the deal. Or that would be GG. And then it's the last round, bro. I was literally stood there on the stage, ready to do the interview, Like, it's going to be GG. Vitality's picking up another trophy. I have all my notes. Everything's prepared. I've got all my questions. I'm ready. And they lose to that low half buy, whatever you want to call it. Like, oh,
It's such a weird one because it felt like they
oh.
just stressed their way in as well. It felt like they had more time if they really wanted to, instead of pushing through the smoke and kind of, I don't know. It felt like they wanted to end it, or it felt like they had a
Yeah.
different read of where players were positioned because they got kind of trapped, especially that because there was one guy pushed through CT smoke and I think he got a
Mhm.
kill and died, and there's just another one kind of creeping through that smoke once again with the Famas, I think, which kind of nailed the round into them. And I have to also give it to like Malbs on that B side. He was buying so much time for his team. He
Yeah.
was playing triple, he was second box, he was everywhere, and he was constantly hiding, finding
Also an
picks,
AWPer all of a
hiding,
sudden.
hiding. And I saw Apex actually talking a little bit about that round because I think this Inferno is quite painful.
Yeah.
I think he tweeted something along the lines of like, we probably should have won this tournament.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they missed the molly on triple in the specific round, which just gave Mouse the kind of time to actually play time against them. It felt like they
Yeah.
were unaware about him because they assumed that Molly would be there. So you kind of got a free pick from that, and then could play time, and they just didn't have the
Oh,
utility to clear him
I'm
out.
reading it. I'm reading it. Yeah. We miss a Mollo triple. Find ourselves scrambling to organize 30, 40 seconds just to pull off a simple execute B. Yeah. Yeah. And by the way, this is what I think. Like 9 times out of 10, we go to train afterwards, right? So obviously it goes to overtime. G2 pull it off with Vitality, don't get a single round. It's 4-0 overtime for G2. G2
Yep.
again, fearless, sharp, dominant, like zero problems at all from any players. Matys, worth his weight in gold in every way. Like he was made for this. And then Train, you look at it and you think, well, this is again still favored for Vitality. Let's be honest, that's what everyone would say. We've seen some great games from Vitality where they can come back into games, they can just dominate. Like it shouldn't be a problem for them. And I will
But
never say that
I think
Vitality's
they were lost mentally because you look at that round where they should have won the game on that 12-11th round.
on
They should
Inferno,
have
yeah.
won it, and they lose. They get cleaned out from the four rounds coming up from that. Then you
Mhm.
go into train. You start off with a 0-6 start. Like that's 10 rounds in a row. You're not even in it.
Yeah, but
You're
that
you're not awake. They're mentally
it was
destroyed at this
the
point. They already thought they were lifting the trophy. They're probably preparing for it. Just like you, they were preparing. I'm gonna go see
Yeah,
BanKs now. I'm gonna answer some questions.
Like, oh, how good it's gonna feel to lift the trophy again.
Yeah. So yes, we did it.
Zai, we're getting
again.
another MVP. We're nearly close to Australis' record for the year. You know.
No, but I'm serious. That probably crept into their mind at some point. Because that's a round where there was Deagles. There were 5/7 armors. They didn't have much utility to actually stop them. And I think even at one point in that round, I might be mistaken, but I think Mouz was completely alone for those 30 to 40 seconds that they wanted to execute. If you actually take the context of Apex tweet, right? I think Mouz that round was completely alone for like 35 seconds. And then
as they were scrambling.
Yeah. And if they actually just executed, they would have won the round instantly. Like there would have been, obviously a hero play could always change the thing, but 5 versus 1 on a site doesn't matter how many smokes or, you basically have to do one of those historical happy aces.
Yeah. But
And that's not very likely.
Going on to train, I'm never going to say that like Vitality's mental is not strong because we've seen them come back into games, but the current Vitality could not. Like I'm watching, it was HeavyGod had multiple, I need to skim through this, but HeavyGod had multiple 1v2 wins. Yeah.
3.
He got a dual elite ace. He won a 1v2 CT post plant situation where Flamesy, like, I don't know what he was doing. By the way, I will say this, right? Flamesy, who have been playing so good, he sold him a little bit on train. Like some of the positions he gave up,
That
some of the times he got
1v2 should never even happen. Why are they challenging him? Like they could have just left him, let him go towards the bomb. They had one guy towards electric/pop.
Yep.
They had one guy in CT.
It was Flames and Rops, right?
And both guys are like kind of trying to surprise him by going for a duel fast, and he just pops their head off. He kind of snuck under, but he kind of went towards 5 train and snuck back towards 6 train. By the way, maybe everyone doesn't actually understand these callouts. Using old school. What is it called? Is it red train and
red? Yeah,
red. So
orange.
He killed one, went towards red train in def cam, and then kind of snuck back to that hell position.
Yeah.
And you can kind of see this little gap of the train where it's kind of
underneath.
So he gets a little bit of an advantage once the duel comes in, and he just kills him. I don't understand why they feel the need to actually go for him, because you could just paint up 2 scenarios, right? What if he went towards red train? If you stay in pop, what can he do? He can chase you down, but he has to like clear multiple corners, have to push you, and has to be loud. Or he can defuse the bomb and you can jiggle it. Like either way, you should probably win that.
So, but look at this, right? HeavyGod obviously deserved MVP, but 2.80 rating CT side, 3 clutches. He felt untouchable. Like he was in their heads and he was getting away with murder. And I think after maybe, I'd say 7 or 8 rounds, maybe Vitality had 2 or 1 round at that point, it was GG. Like they were not coming back into that, and you could see it. There was no Zaiwu bailing them out. There was no Robs pulling anything crazy off. Like they were trying, they were fighting, and like Sunpias was a non-factor in that map as well, which an AWP can obviously sometimes be so helpful, so useful, but it didn't matter because everyone else was just doing what they needed to do, and they could feel that they were going to go and get this win. 2 players' first ever trophy.
I'll even mention the round that I thought was the most devastating one to watch. As if you were sharing for Vitality, there was a round where I think they were in a 4 versus 3. I think one of the G2 players that snuck into inner kind of surpassed the inner push from one of the CT players. They realize, okay, we have bomb stuck alley. There's 20 seconds left. There's 3 guys outside and 1 pushed inner. At 20-second mark, everyone panics from Vitality and leaves the entire bomb site.
Was this the last round?
It might even have been the last round.
It might be, because you're talking about when Sunpire snuck in lower.
Yes.
Yeah?
Yes.
Yeah, so that's the very last round.
Okay.
They managed to then somehow get the bomb.
Oh my God.
Yeah, so they get the bomb, right? It's Sunpire gets 1 kill, obviously causes some sort of a distraction. They all go for looking at him. And it just turns into absolute madness. Hunter then holds connector
Yes,
and
yes.
goes off. I've got it here. So, yeah, 7 seconds left to plant. Pius gets the kill onto Zywoo, and then he sneaks round. There's another player in con. Pius then just dies because obviously they know he's flanking. But then everyone's confused on Vitality. They don't know what's going on. And then it's a 2v3. And Hunter is playing so aggressively. Flamesy's not moving anywhere out from Pop Dog at this point. Hunter's just waiting for the kills. Smoke starts to fade. And then you just see him go for the fight. Apex down, second one straight into Robs. And then they just know they can isolate this player. And they hold. They wait. But Flamesy took way too long.
Oh
this
my
was
God.
discombobulation. Then he just wants to stick the bomb. And that's it. No chance. No chance. So yeah, that's the round you're on about. That was Pius saved them. Even if he didn't have the greatest rating, he saved them with that round.
But I swear, if you like kind of zoom back 20 seconds or something, and you look at that round, there's like, oh shit, yeah, G2 lost this round. You're like 100% certain, and then everyone just starts to move towards inner, and it just looks so weird.
Maybe a wrong call, wrong communication, or something. But what we'll do, we'll talk quickly about Vitality in the sense that everyone, because of how high they took it in the first part of the year, is saying like this is a massive failure. I am completely disagreeing with that. No, but this is, I'm saying, like the community perception, right? Because they expect this team to be so dominant. Oh, you lost to G2. They don't even have Nico Munacy, blah, blah. My point on this is this Vitality at least showed better signs of life than what they have since after the Austin Major. Not just because they made a grand final, but they look to have in some rounds playing off each other the same way, trusting each other again, knowing what they should be doing in situations, you know. But they met a G2 with an insane playbook who had not been at as many events as Vitality, right?
Yeah.
Not been making as deep runs, you know. A Bounty, they didn't even make it to the LAN final. They got eliminated by Spirit, so they were playing from home and then stayed home. Esports World Cup, they played one game, went home. So for them, they had a lot more time, same as like a Furia, to work on things. Furia wasn't even at EWC, you know? So Mouz and Vitality had been 40 days or something, 50 days of on the road, non-stop Counter-Strike, bit of online at home, into just gaming, no chance to really rework the playbook. That's not an excuse for them, but it meant, and this is it. This is the thing I was going to say I heard about the G2 guys. Matty said this on interview. He has more of a playbook, strat stuff shown to him in this 2 months on G2 than he had for the entire 1 year and a half on Fnatic. And that's just the level of, I'm going to call it Sour's Bible. Sour's Bible right now is that deep. And everyone talks about like how well Ents did and stuff, and Snappy as well. I'm always going to credit the in-game leader in some regards to it. But Saw has been able to work wonders with lesser pieces, on his heroic time, on the Ents time, even before they were like,
he always
doing
makes
well.
the sum of his parts better. And I think that's, you know, exactly like you're saying. And he's done it with, I mean, you could just imagine he's made every single team he's been on competitive against the world's best. I'm not saying, you know, heroic, that it was like a world beater or anything, but they could be competitive even against the best teams. And they did have a couple of upsets against some of the best teams. And, you know, if you look at Ents, you know, and I think even if you would put like Ents' team and you'd write them down on paper, show everyone what this team was, and say that they were a top 3 team in the world, I don't think a lot of people would be shocked, you know,
because of that lack of like star names, you know, as it be. Because people have to focus so much on that.
It's not bad players, but you had what was it? Nerds, Snappy, Mad, and some Pius and Disha.
Yeah.
And you look at those 5 and you tell me that's the top 3 team in the world.
No. Without Saw, no.
No, but that's what I'm saying. You know, that even now, I think he has a better material than he had in Ents in terms
Yep.
of firepower, skill. The one thing that we've been questioning maybe is the type, the in-game leading. But I've always, fought Hunter. He has the personality for it. He's a real leader. He's calm. He's, constructive and criticism. Is a, pleasure to speak to at
Yep.
every single moment. I've had to speak with this guy. You could sense he has that calmness to be a good leader. He just hasn't developed it fully yet. And for Saw to kind of bring this out so early
Yep.
and make them so efficient, both on T sides and CT sides, because when you're new, I think it's easy to focus on the CT side and have a great kind of CT side. If you look at like kind of Mouz, where they're slowly progressing the T side. But I think
Yeah.
actually some of the T sides were one of the key strengths for this G2. It's that shocked me. They were dominant. They looked to outplay people. They had different tempo. They, you know, even Vitality got scared and moved around and felt like they had to over rotate at points where
Yep.
some other teams they would just stay put and just feel calm in the situation. But when they were facing G2, it felt like they didn't really have that security because anything could happen. The way they, presented their T side in terms of pattern, they didn't really know what was going on. So
And by the
I
way, I'm
think
going to say this
that
about
is
Hunter.
crazy.
Hunter got asked. So I did an interview with Hunter on my own YouTube channel 11 months ago. Yeah. This was
Yeah.
at the Copenhagen Major. And he said on this interview, G2 asked him already multiple times to be an IGL, and he didn't want to do it. He wasn't interested in doing it. He said on the interview, the winner's interview, right, when he lifted the trophy, he has even less time with his wife and with his 2 kids at home because now he's an IGL and taking all this stuff. But he takes it so seriously. He works so hard on it, right? And now was the time for him to do it. But he's also got a fantastic team around him. And I'll add this extra little nugget to it. So already there was an assistant coach called Amenstein, yeah, French guy. I heard a lot of positive things about him. Always super positive guy whenever I saw him with the old G2 team.
Yeah.
But Saw brought with him a guy called Shedden, who is also the assistant coach. Yeah, the Swedish guy. He was with him on Heroic. So he told me that it's not often that Saw would be like vouching for people so much. Saw's just doing his thing, working his way. But Saw wanted to bring him with him. So they have double assistant coaches. They have a full support of a huge organization like G2 and some incredible players. Oh, and there's another bit to this. Alban, who is the CEO of G2 currently.
Yep.
I did an interview with him during EWC. I might have mentioned this on the last episode. But basically, he said to me, we are no longer focusing on building our team like we did in the past, but we're going to do a more Na'Vi approach by having the coach be the one that attracts the players. So similar to a Na'Vi where like Blade is where a lot of players would like to go and work under Blade, yeah? They want the same in the eyes of Saw. So a lot more on that side of things. And people were really hating and saying things like, and this, by the way, this isn't about the Snacks and Taz situation. This is about when m0NESY and Nico went, or when Nico went first and m0NESY went. Everyone was like, G2 can't rebuild. Who are they going to get? There's no stars. Well, you're playing with potentially new stars, yeah? Malbs had a huge slump. At one point, he told me in an interview, I'm not enjoying playing Counter-Strike. I've got DMs, but I won't read out because they're private with me and Malbs, where like I'm checking on him because of what he said to me in an interview. Because he was so unhappy with his level and performance. And he doesn't have to have the craziest rating, but he's doing better work in his position for the team. And then you've got someone like, by the way, HeavyGod. We'll talk about him later because there's so much, Mo.
But even Malbs, like the last time we really saw him like play on like a big stage was at the major, and he looked devastated, absolutely crushed when you saw him lose the last game. Was it against FaZe or who was it against? Who did they lose to?
It was either Vitality or FaZe, right?
I can't remember, but it was a close one. I remember it was a close game.
It was the last time with Nico as well, right?
Yeah.
And that was when Malbs was at his best.
Yeah. I remember
G2 FaZe, they lost 2-0. Lost in overtime on Nuke.
It was an overtime. I watched that.
Mouz
game.
had a stinker, Monacy had a stinker, and Nico. It was only Hunter and Snacks that actually performed on that one.
I remember he looked absolutely destroyed.
Yeah. But this is crazy because Matys, right? I'm never going to compare someone with Donk because Donk does what Donk does. But the crisp, the sharpness of Matys is insane. And it's, for me, it's a different style of Donk because it's like very reactionary. He just sees, he reads, and it's almost effortless, bang, dead, you know? And he's going for it, and he can start to feel it out. And I think he's such a good communicator. I can't hear him. Remember, it's in a big arena.
You see on the camera.
I'm looking on the camera. And by the way, in our talent room, we have the program feed showing the game. And then I have a dedicated thing that I've requested for years now, where it's just the cameras of every player. So I have a camera I can see. We can all see it. But it's like one of these things I love because I want to see people are getting tilted. So I can see every player 24/7.
I just imagined you sitting there with like four different screens and it's all webcams of players, and you're not watching the game. You just
bro, it's interesting for me, right, as an interviewer because I can see like when Donk's doing this, right?
Body language and stuff. Yeah,
bro, I'm reading. My job's not just about looking at the game. I've got to look at this stuff as well. Who's checked out? Who maybe, like, for example, there's some games where Chopper's talking less and Shiro's motor mouth saying loads of things that he wants, you know? There's different things that can change up in teams. And it's very interesting for me as the interviewer. Very interesting. But so Matty's first time on stage, yeah? Hugely impressive.
I said last episode, he impresses me with the way he plays. Like, it's not only that he has crisp aim, I think he does what's important in the moment. Like, you know, it's some positions are so difficult to be in, and some players, they're a bit scared to kind of push forward and eliminate the current threat, and they just wait for the threat to kind of come to you or peek you. You kind of stop. You know, I'll even reference this Saw kind of timeout in this where he said, you know, are your double you frozen or something? You know, when he said that voice line. And sometimes you just need players to take that risk to be able to push in. I remember on trade on the pistol, someone is in that hell position. He just pops two people on bomb turn and instantly pushes to eliminate the third guy in hell. Doesn't give him any time to play around with. I think that's such an important quality to have. Is just be able, let's shut this round down when we have the time now, instead of waiting until rotations comes in and this becomes interesting for them, you know? I think that's what impresses me the most. Also, he's super patient with utility. Like when he's playing that Ivy position, seems to have perfect timings of when to drop utility, when to communicate. He pulls people towards his position when he feels there's a threat. So he doesn't do things solo, as you say. He seems like a strong communicator, and it's just a joy to watch him because
he's a rap god, bro.
He's not
in interviews
only explosive. He can also be defensive and kind of play that very structured way of playing Counter-Strike, right? And I think that's so impressive.
He said also he plays better when the playbook's like this, when there's more structure. It suits him. But that's actually better for him. And to go on to HeavyGod as well, right? Because we've touched on some parts of it. We spoke about Hunter, Mouz, now Matys. HeavyGod, I'm going to say this. On December 29th, 2024, I said he's a strong addition for G2 and I was glazing him. And then I said he's going to do very well because he's been a standout player on both his teams from the past. So when he played for OG, standout player in completely different... Basically, this guy can play any role. I feel like I've seen him play every different role and position. Asked for him at one point when he was playing anchor roles. Then he was playing some more rotator roles. Then he was more star role at times, depending on what team he was in. Yeah. Maybe he's even done IGLing at one point. It had to be a very low down team from the beginning. But this guy works insanely hard. He grinds CS like crazy. And I think he was hella underrated because people didn't know his game. He wasn't being used in the right way. But like he was doing God's work for a Cloud9 that was failing. Remember, he can speak Ukrainian and Russian because he's got a Ukrainian family. He perfect at communicating. He studies the game, watches VODs of players. He's super grinding face it and stuff like that as well. He's very on point and very, I would say, adaptable, versatile, loves to learn. And never did I expect him to have an MVP on his first event. He's picking up the trophy. But this was so well deserved because it was that interview. I'm going to bring the quote up now. He said,
But he has so much X factor when you watch him, you know, like it's one of those things where I think maybe even the new stat 3.0 kind of helps him to that sense because he has that X factor of turning rounds around and unlikely scenarios, getting a lot of multi frags. He's great in clutches. Even when, you know, like spraying people down and stuff like that. I think those HeavyGod and Matys, they got so many multi kills from baited situations or stuff like that. I don't know. They all looked great in G2. And obviously HeavyGod, I think Matys before the final, maybe I thought Matys was just a little bit more important, but I think in the final HeavyGod kind of pulled ahead with the rating wise. But I think both of them were so good. And that's not even half of it because everyone was really good in G2.
The quote I want to have used here, right? He said, "Everyone says I'm harsh on myself. I'm trying to be a perfect player, but he almost is.
Yeah.
There's no such thing as a perfect player, but it's what he's able to do from communication to the roles he plays to always being good for getting his kills, to supporting his teammates. Like it's so good. And honestly, G2 probably had more fans in the arena than Vitality, and I think that's just because the Brits love an underdog. But I didn't expect that when Mezzy was having a chance to lift the trophy in his home country. He's from Birmingham, not London. But like, he had his wife, his partner. Sorry, they're not married yet, and his daughter there. His daughter's so cute, by the way. It's like got almost the same hair as Mezzy. It's so funny. But like this, I did the exit interview with Mezzy. It was painful for him because they really knew they had it. It was so much for them to digest.
But you know, one more thing that's kind of special with HeavyGod, if you just look at the stats. Yeah. So he has the most entries for G2. He also has the most clutches for G2.
Yeah. Yep.
So like to just add on that you say he can play anything, he's literally is in the game. He's playing every single role possible, you know.
I told you.
He has 16 multi-kills, second in the, or third in the team actually, but 16 multi-kill rounds in the grand final with 15 entries and 4 clutches. And those clutches, damn,
they were big.
They were big. I think I even remember one on, it's like a 1v3 I remember that kind of started this comeback. Either way, he was great. I'm not gonna dwell
Heavy
into
God,
much.
Heavy Goat, Heavy MVP. His name, you can play with this all day long. He's on point. And also, he's so humble. Yeah, he's so humble when you hear him in interviews, when you hear him talking. Also, it was lovely when I was doing the interview. The cameraman said he didn't like point to it, but his brother was crying watching him lift the trophy, and they went and hugged afterwards and stuff. And it was so nice that he could have his brother there in the crowd to watch his first ever trophy and MVP. Just a super special moment, so crazy. And people can say, "Oh, like this isn't a real like big tournament because like Spirit wasn't there and all these other things," but people had to qualify through online tournaments, yeah. So that's just the way it went. And then we had 6 teams through. That's just the format. They beat Spirit online. They beat Vitality in the final. They had a legit run, and Saul needs a lot of credit for this as well as what Hunter can do and bring. Because remember, Hunter's in his infancy as an in-game leader. He's only going to get better from here. And also, the storyline of this, I tweeted it earlier today. Let me bring it up. Hunter first trophies in IGL. Some Pius and Saw only have one S-tier trophy before this. Dallas 2023. 2 years later, they've gone to different teams, split apart, and come back together and done it again. Matty's first arena, first grand final, first trophy. HeavyGod first grand final trophy and MVP. Mouz lost confidence, not enjoying the game, and now finds his way back to it. This is crazy.
But isn't this the first trophy for Hunter without Nico?
Yes.
So it's a pretty special one in that,
I said that to him in an
sense.
interview. I said, you've done it even without Nico being here, you know?
Yeah.
Now, do you know what would be the craziest move? Just imagine, just wait for it.
Falcons
Turn
minus
around,
kick some plus
kick
Hunter.
some plus Hunter, but they don't get Saw and it all falls apart. It just goes back. No, they would never let him go. They would never let him go.
Bring Saw Stratbook. Bring Saw Stratbook.
Yeah. But it'd only get you so far. Yeah, I think
only a couple of months.
You don't mess with this now. You definitely don't mess with that. But I'll give some closing thoughts on London. I feel like overall as an event in the arena, it was good. Friday was not so packed out as often what happens anyway. The FaZe game was much better, much more hype. Saturday was good. Sunday was absolutely incredible. The energy, the atmosphere, it was electrifying. It really was full. It was completely packed out. It was beautiful to see.
You could hear it
British
on the
crowd.
stream as well.
But we need a bigger venue. We've done 2 years of this venue now. I don't even care if they move away from London, because I had people talk to me, by the way, yeah? People who I see at regular events. I mean, these guys are attending 5-6 Counter-Strike events a year. Some of them live in the UK, and they said it's more expensive to buy a hotel. It's not about the ticket price, by the way. It's more expensive to buy a hotel and travel inside London than to go to a Cologne and travel abroad, because London's so crazy. And also, we're just unlucky, by the way. Coldplay were doing like 8 back-to-back nights of the main Wembley Arena. So everything's booked out close by. Everything's chock-a-block. Everything's maxed out on prices. Couldn't go anywhere for food other than some like fast food places. So it was a tough timing. But bro, Coldplay took the piss. Like, you man are booking out. It was 8 days in a row, like back to back to back. Like, yeah, that's how much days? 8 days in a row. So you know when I text you when we arrived, yeah, they were on the concert. They did it all the way until Sunday night, mate, because they're that popular. Coldplay is obviously that big. I like Coldplay, but I mess with their music.
They're just out to expose all the CEOs in London. But
that's money. That's money. So they're cleaning house, but that meant the prices of everything was through the roof. So for regular fun fans who want to come enjoy it, it wasn't good. So I would love if Blast want to come back to London or just the UK. Let's go look at a bigger venue somewhere else, a bit more commutable, a bit more reasonable priced, see what we can do. Because I think the UK crowd can cook. Sunday was fantastic, and I met so many cool fans and stuff. People asked us already, they were asking me, when you film the next episode of podcast, will you film it tonight? I'm like, nah, bro, I'm sleeping. We'll do it the next day. So for you who asked me, here it is. It's live and kicking now. You can enjoy it from this side of it. But what was it like for you as a viewer?
I thought it was good. I didn't have any complaints. I thought it was a good event, good production. I felt like you got a sense of that there was audience, but as you said, there was some moments where they kicked into the camera view of the audience, and on the earlier kind of quarterfinals, it looked a little bit empty. But in the final, it was amazing. Like every single kill felt like you were in the audience just watching from home. There was a great crowd kind of mics. Yeah, it was a great event, and I think this is probably the best final I've seen in a long time.
Does it beat Melbourne? Does it beat Melbourne?
Let me actually remind myself of Melbourne.
Melbourne was the Falcons one. Falcons Vitality.
Okay, I think it's up there at least. It might not beat the Melbourne one, but I think
just because there was
for me as a viewer, just watching that Inferno and feeling like Vitality have this, and then oh no, oh no, oh no, oh no, are they doing it? This emotion you get. I don't know. It's so exciting to watch Counter-Strike when you get that, when you feel like you're just jumping in your chair and oh, come on, do it.
That's the beauty of the game, man.
Yeah,
that is the beauty of the game.
So I got swept into all the G2 emotions. I thought it was a really, really good final. One of the best for sure. And yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing so much more of G2. I think they look dangerous. I think it's
Yeah.
kind of one of these things where now we're looking at, obviously Starladder Major is closing in on us, and we're looking at so many potential winners of the tournament. Last
Yeah.
tournament, we looked at it and was like, I'd probably say if we did a poll, it would be 98% would vote Vitality. But now we have Spirit coming in with a kind of a new lineup, looking pretty sharp, or at least in moments they can bring, being the best. You have Mouse Sports, you have Vitality, you have G2, you have Falcons, you have
Yeah.
Mongols. Like there's so many potential teams that could actually make this like one of the most exciting majors of all time.
We'll have to wait and see. We'll keep covering it. But let's get ourselves off of Blast London into some of the news that was going on. So it's our news updates, everything that's going on. We got to start with the craziest quote that I even had to check with you, mate, if he was joking or if it was real or not, because Wildcard, we already said last episode, this is like the most mismanaged, maybe worst organization in Counter-Strike right now, by far. But what we have here is FaZe on Wildcard Shuffle. I heard ChatGPT was involved with making suggestions for players. I thought this was a troll. I thought this was a meme.
I
There's
thought
like
this
no
as well.
way. There's no way. Yeah, like he's on an interview. He's in America. He's just having a bit of fun. And then instead we find out this is actually what was done. This is what has been communicated to the players. Obviously, for people who do not know, last episode, if you didn't watch it, we spoke about FaZe doing really well on 9. He was taken from the bench on Wildcard and unexpectedly put on the bench. All of these player changes, all the mess that's happened in Wildcard was not made by the players. It's not what the players wanted. It's not what the players agreed on for all the success they had in recent times. And then they bring him back because they want to hold on to their VRS points and keep the core lineup. And they're just taking the piss from the kid, like using and abusing him in contract prison, holding him around the neck like, ha, 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 you do what you want. And it's like,
You qualify for LAN for 9? You qualify for wildcard.
yeah, make it happen. For like, the whole interview is sad. And I'm so happy, by the way, FaZe, if you ever see this, like, I'm so happy you kept it real, because many players would not do that. They would crumble. So I respect the balls on you for be doing this, because they benched Susp, Stanislaw the IGL, and then FaZe. And then they wanted to bring in like more players and change things up. And if this was done by ChatGPT, ChatGPT don't know game. ChatGPT don't know Counter-Strike. And if that's what you're doing, fire the manager. Whoever ChatGPT this, I don't care if it is even the CEO, go away. Get out of here. You're worthless. You owe these players an apology. There's no way in hell any of these guys are going to be loyal to you. As soon as their contract, no one's re-signing. No one's re-signing. They're owned by the
Amarath, right?
Yeah, but how do you explain? The streamer, Amarath, yeah. And it may
The
be
IRL, just
IRL
chatting
streamer.
streamer.
Like, no jokes. I have no problem that she's investing in Counter-Strike, but probably she's just thrown the money at it and some idiots are managing it for her. But if anyone has power to change this right now, it's you. So please fix this. Fire whoever made this brain dead decision, because this is one of the worst things that could be happening. And he said,
Yeah.
look, he said, while he's ready to play, it may take him some time before he's able to trust Wildcard ever again. No, you can't trust them ever again. Fuck them. Do not trust Wildcard. Do not sign ever again with this.
But I think that's his
soon as
nice
possible.
way of saying just what you want to express.
Yeah.
Because I mean, it's a terrible move. We talked about it, that they're pulling him back only because they're selling Sonic to NRG, who probably was fighting tooth and nail to get out of this situation.
Sonic wanted to leave for a while as well. Sonic was already ready to go.
And I mean, it's bad enough to be kind of cut as a player, benched, and then come back to the existing lineup you were in. Now he's coming back to a downgrade of that lineup to some sense, where obviously how hyped and how motivated can you be as a team fighting for an org where, you know, he explained in this interview they exceeded the expectations that were put on them. They qualified for the major. They did well. I
Equivalent of
think they
legends.
were, yeah, they were ranked like 20th. They fell short in a couple of games, sure, but they were always competitive. They were
Sure.
interesting. And I fear that this is all dead. And as you said, who would want to join them at this point? If
Oh, no
this
one.
is the treatment that the players get when they achieve the goals you set out for them, what, who
By
in
the
the
way,
right mind
Fiku must have
play?
been hella desperate. Fiku must have been not saving any money from his previous teams.
I'll still say
Like,
it. Who in their right mind would go there?
oh, yeah, Fiku, man. That's you got to handle the L you've just dealt yourself. Like this
It's
is,
yeah,
I feel so sorry for players like Stanislaw who built that up, Jaber who is a promising North American talent, Fuzi for what he's been able to try and do. You know, this guy, by the way, was playing in China at one point for a Chinese team, Rare Atom.
yep.
He will do anything to play Counter-Strike, and he already just don't want to be on this team. Like, that's how bad you are. That's how absolutely awful you are as an organization, and it is disgusting. Like, also, hopefully this sends a message to anyone else. I don't know if Wildcard, I have no idea about the org, but I don't know if they have other players in other games. But if you're another player in another game and you see Wildcard, avoid that also. Like, please, either you need a complete rebuild of the management or put the organization in the bin.
Or I would recommend, if you're planning on signing with them, have a very specific clause that if you're benched, you're free to go when you find another team.
Yeah, get a good agent. We can recommend Ulti Agency to you all. There you go. That'll be a safe pair of hands for you. All right, we won't spend too much more time on that, though. We'll get on to the next one. Tanir is official. We spoke about this so many times, him going to Spirit. But so Tanir, we already knew, right? And it was always supposed to be for Zontix. So
Yep.
that's not like it's not crazy, you know? It's not a big wow, oh, we're so shocked. But Overdrive leaked this before. So Overdrive, obviously, he works for Team Spirit. He's obviously a very good Eastern European leaker of all this information, does all that kind of stuff.
Also works for the organization he's currently
Yeah, works for
leaking.
Spirit. But if they obviously let him, right, he gets away with it. But so Zontix then backs up what he'd posted on his Telegram channel. Zontix said right now, to anyone seeking more clarity regarding my departure from Team Spirit's active roster. After the major, I asked the management for a break from competing due to several personal reasons. So that's after the Austin major. Since the organization needed time to arrange a transfer for a replacement, we agreed that I would have to play for some time after summer players break. I'm expected to be back competing this winter. We don't know if that's going to be for Spirit or not, by the way. That's not like he's just going to come straight back onto Spirit. That's how people shouldn't take it. From what I heard and what I understand, it's just he wants to be back playing then. Whether that's for another team or not. He's very capable in English out of all the players on Spirit, so he could also go to an English-speaking international team. But it's not guaranteed he's going back on Spirit. That's what I heard from my sources. But the other thing I want to bring up, and we'll do this moment now. So watch this interview from the 7th of December, 2024 that I did with Zontix.
I have some health problems that affect me, and I know a lot of players have health problems because they're playing like for 10 hours a day, but it is affecting me a little bit, and after like me realizing it affects me, it just comes to the point where I have to psychologically think about it differently than I sometimes do, and it won't affect my performance that well. And so I think it's just more psychological than like inside the game.
So, Devilwalk, we watched that interview. We saw everything that was happening. Zontix told me at that point, right, that he had some health problems.
Yep.
Something that he thought like he could go through, But what I knew it was something like some of the foods he was eating, for example, was to make it better on his stomach, to help him to be in a better feeling, you know. I'm not going to say anything else about what I know on his health problems with that, but this was back then of what he had. I'm guessing maybe, you know, health problems are very serious. Zontix, by the way, for people who don't realize, very honest, very open, very straight to the point, but like he's very smart outside of the game as well. And I think he just knows that I need to deal with this. That's what I don't know this is a fact. This is what I'm guessing based on looking back to that, looking at timeline, looking at how health can maybe not progress the way you wanted or whatever he was trying didn't work. So I'm just imagining he's got something like that he needs to deal with as well. All I'll say is he's still a good player. Like people said they wanted him benched for ages, but he's been able to play through that system, be very valuable, won a major with that team, won multiple other tournaments as well. He's got Cologne and Katowice to his name. You know, he's got the big three up there. We already spoke about Tanir, already know what's going to happen, but that's just some information on everything with where Zontix will be at.
Yeah, and I think it's you might mature from him to the point where
Yeah.
a lot of these players will push it to the very limit, and then it just makes
Until they're
their
actually so
road,
sick.
it's too long to ever come back because you're just too out of the game, or your
Yeah.
body starts developing almost PTSD towards Counter-Strike because you've kind of put yourself in such a devastating position health-wise.
Yeah.
So I think really mature. I hope he's back sooner than later. And as you say, super capable player. I think him being kind of switched on and switched off as it seems. I'm not sure if maybe his request to kind of leave is what triggered the Tanir kind of transfer. But with that, it kind of looks like it
Yeah.
in some sense.
I don't think it would have happened if he didn't want to go. I think they would have at least played it. If they were serious about keeping that team, yeah. The way Hallie is, the way Spirit are, I think it would have just taken some time before they maybe decided they didn't want to play with that team.
It always felt weird, the timing of Tanir change, because they could have done that change in the summer break, essentially, but they obviously didn't have enough time to kind of secure a player or find the right one or maybe discuss the right one in that time. So it wasn't a very super clear.
You got to win one more trophy still as well. They won the Blast Bounty Finals.
Yeah. And I mean, he's played well. He hasn't been like... It's actually in some of these games where you feel like, okay, this is his last tournament. He's actually, in some games, been incredible. So, no, I say good on him. Like, take that break, health first.
And we spoke about this, right? About the PR answers. This is one of these ones where I don't think this is Spirit forcing him to say this or something like that. I think this is just a Zontix decision. The way I know him, I would say it's just him keeping it real, going with that. Next in the news, this is crazy, but we've known match fixing has been going on for years in all games, but also especially in Asia and China. Boros alleges former Rare Atom player asked him to fix games. So somebody who plays for TBO right now. I don't even know who TBO is. Let's have a look.
But somebody, he played for...
He's played for Tyler at one point.
Yeah,
TBO. He played for Rare Atom. So what it is Boros alleged, because obviously it's all allegedly, right? That somebody was asking them to match fix. I'll just say this. I have commentated games which are doing the Chinese qualifiers or Asia qualifiers where a team has lost to go to a lower bracket, smashed. By the way, and this is a game like they should never ever lose. Then they lose all their skins, for the next game and the same online qualifier. This was in 2018, I believe, when I was still commentating, but I was commentating, not hosting or interviewing. And then they would either bet their own skins on the games they're throwing or going to win, because obviously they shouldn't be in the lower bracket because they should have smashed the first game, and then they just win. And like this was regularly happening in the Asia region. This is going to happen probably in tier 3, tier 2, whatever as well, maybe. That I don't have any information on, but it's what some people speculate. But fair play to Boros for putting this out here, because Elfish Guy, a well-known commentator as well, he put some thoughts on it as well. What's his say? It says, apparently someone called Frankie, somebody's cousin, was the ringleader of the match-fixing group that owned Atox and Wings Up. So, they could all go through this together. There's a video as well. Yeah,
While you go through this,
it's
I'm pouring a beer.
crazy,
I'm
man.
listening.
Yeah, it's crazy.
No, I think it's something that's been, as you mentioned, it's been well known for quite a while. I mean, I even remember one of like first majors, like back in like 2014, 15, something
Yeah.
along these lines. We get called in by like some, betting, I don't know, people who chase basically faulty bets and kind of searches for evidence on that.
Yeah.
Gets explained what the rules are if you're a participating player and stuff like that, and they explained how prevalent it was in especially Asian regions where betting companies can basically not trust any Asian games, to the point that it's so like broad there that they just see occasion after occasion after occasion with suspicious activity, both on the betting side and in the game.
It's crazy because I have no proof of this, and this is just what people have passed info, like have said this to me, but they spoke about things where these teams can be playing in a practice room or a boot camp together, yeah, and then there's someone literally telling them, throw this round, yeah, throw this part of the match, and it can be some pretty nasty people doing this, or just some people who want to make a lot of money from the betting money that's thrown around.
Yeah.
And that's a wild situation to be in. But I'll say this is like Boros, at least fair play to him for putting that out there.
Yeah, I mean, the weird part about this is
risky, by the way.
obviously, I think you've heard about people, messaging on Steam and stuff like this, or like adding people like throw this game, or like being in an anonymous kind of situation while doing it.
Yeah.
But I've never heard about a player coming up to another player saying, throw this game for money. And especially someone that's like quite well known.
Known. Yeah.
Like at least previously respected in the scene.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's horrible.
Crazy. Next, we'll get into a couple of things on tournament news. PGL Astana. I confirmed this because I saw the tickets, right? So last year in Astana, the main language in the arena, other than when I was hosting with a Russian-speaking stage host who was like working alongside me, it was always in Russian in the arena. But Astana is now going to be broadcast in English. So I messaged Silvio, the owner of PGL, and one of the things he said was that it's for bringing an international audience to the arena. I'll say this, and we said it when we did the Astana event at the time. Astana is a beautiful place within Kazakhstan. There's a lot of culture there. It's very good value for money if you're going there to watch an event. You might have to fly a bit further, but it definitely could be cool for that. And having the English broadcast there will make things easier, because then we're not trying to like sync up with the other Russian broadcast, on the timings and things. The logistics will be better. But I actually think that's quite a positive change. I really like that change.
I mean, that's great. I think it doesn't matter almost where you are in the world, where you're hosting events. People seem to come there no matter what. And you've talked about the UK kind of crowd that you've seen on multiple events, do like 5-6 events a year. And I feel like most of these people, they probably want to change up, unless there's some event that it's super special, and continues to deliver. Probably want to change up location to kind of explore the world at the same time.
Let me throw this out here. I have no information. I can just be literally talking out of my ass right now to make this clear. But just imagine if they're doing this as well to gear up for the idea that Astana or Kazakhstan in general, because by the way, a lot of people spoke English there. I was meeting young kids, young kids speaking English there. A lot of them learning it in school very early on. Imagine if they're gearing up to have a major there, because then they would have to cater towards an international audience because people will travel from all over the world for it. So
Do
for
you think
tourism,
that's possible?
definitely. With how that crowd was, with how the community is there and how much they were loving it and how good the ticket sales was, you can have people from all over the world come there with no problem. Very easy visa-wise as well. I would say maybe that's what they're trying to do, because if the country or the city is involved, I don't know this either, by the way. I'm not so close to tournament organizers that I'm finding out whether the city's sponsoring it. But if they're looking at tourism, which a lot of these countries do, right?
Yep.
Where they get involved and they say, like, let's bring this event here, let's have this big event here. Also, the next Astana is a $1.6 million prize pool, which is nuts. It's crazy. But just imagine if they're trying to cater now, ready for that international audience, because the country also wants it as well. That's pretty hype. I like the sound of that.
And you also have the, what do you call it? You have the clothing from Kazakhstan,
Yeah,
right?
I do.
So you can just like put that on straight
gonna
flight
rock up
there.
again
You'll
like
be,
it, man.
yeah.
I'll be back in my vibe. I'll be blending in, one of the local Kazakhstani people. But I loved it in Astana last time, man. Next time you have to come. It's so good. It's just crazy.
Yeah, I'd love to be there.
From that event news to more positive event news. There's lots of positive event news. This is great. IEM Chengdu. I won't be there. I won't be going to work there. I think the broadcaster, the commentators are in the venue. But the analysts and stuff, I believe, are going to be in a studio, because obviously it's going to be focused on Chinese-speaking audience. But 60% of the matches will have a live audience. That's awesome. I'm in China, in like different parts of the world. It's not everywhere it's possible, yeah. But definitely in China, in Asia, you can have crowd for everyone. When we did the Shanghai Major and we had crowd for each and every stage, it would, dude, we had, just to point this out, we had 2 rooms with 4 setups with that closing and opening thing you saw, yeah, with 4 booths. So that's 8 booths in total. So one team is playing on each side, each stage, while the other team's setting up. Yeah. So you have instant quick turnaround of games. They were doing that in China for Perfect World. And we had good turnaround of games. We had epic audience. We had nice moments. The Chinese fans getting to see the best teams in the world competing for a major. This is a win. So big plus from ESL on that.
Yeah, I will admit that it's probably the major I've watched the least out of every single major, just because of the times.
Tough timing. Yeah.
Yes, tough timings. But yeah, obviously that's great. I think it's always good when you have a lot of audience, or at least open to audience, even in group stages, etc. So yeah, big positive, because something is always missing when you don't have a crowd. It feels a little bit weird. Like even watching the major, it feels a little bit weird when you have the majority of the major doesn't have a crowd. It just feels
that was
awkward.
the saddest part of Austin Major, not having a crowd for the opening
Yeah.
stages. I think we're at a point now where every major should have that. But we'll see. We'll get there eventually. It also depends on location as well, money and everything that comes with it at the same time. Then we're going to end on our last news part with end of a legendary career. Yeah, Angel, if people remember him, for his CS life, he was obviously Hellraisers. I think most people will know him for. He played on Astana Dragons at the beginning of CS:GO and Virtus Pro.
That super team.
Yeah. So he's played within the Eastern European CIS region for a long time. He's same age as me and you, 35, from Ukraine. Played active from 2005 till now, 20 years. But the last 5 years, he's been playing Valorant. Now, I don't care about that, because I'm going to say he had a legendary career within Counter-Strike, no matter what. And he actually, I don't know how much he won in Valorant. We'd have to look now. In Valorant, did he win? He won no S tiers by the look of it. Some eight. Oh no, he won one S tier. One S tier. Valorant Masters Copenhagen 2022. He won that. And then he ends his career on Na'Vi and he's going to go into coaching. But this guy is so smart. If at 35 he was still playing, joins a new game, which is it's an FPS, but let me tell you, Valorant is like kids candy popping all over the screen and loads of shit being thrown all over it. It's not a normal game. But he still had success in it. And I just think we should take that moment to honor him and all he's done, because if I go back to his Counter-Strike page, right?
I mean, I have huge respect for this guy. I think he was one of the, in-game leaders from Eastern Europe that was, amazing, always in the top teams, could always, I played against him tons when I was playing, even against that Astana Dragons team. They were, incredibly good. I think, was he part of the... No, he wasn't part of that team. Or was he part of the VP that beat NIP the first time on LAN?
Your memories gonna have to be well better than mine on this.
I think so. Yes, he was. So, the one who ended the LAN streak of NIP, the in-game leader who ended the LAN streak for NIP is Angel.
There we go. But yeah, a legend of the game, a legend of the Eastern European, Ukrainian scene. Played with many legendary players. Even switched to English at one point. I remember when it was like Issa and Woxic he brought into the team when they were young and fresh. I remember him telling me a story about how it was so hard to get them to practice the same way they were playing officials. Like he couldn't, they like very uncontrollable. Taking a Turkish player and a player from Jordan into this international team was very crazy.
I think he stole one of my players at one point as well.
Oh, really?
Well, I was coaching in No Chance and they took Nuki, I think.
Oh, yeah, that's on there. That's on there.
Yep.
He had Stico at one point. Oscar was there. LMBT as the coach. Snyder was there at one point.
Yes, the weirdest timeline.
Standing in Snyder. Stand-in Simple.
I remember Schneider talking about this, and he was so confused about, like, he wasn't doing bad, but obviously Angel has a very specific way how they kind of call strategies, where they would write in team chat exactly what strat they would execute in all the stages with numbers and letters. So it would look something like 3B A2 A1 in just team chat, and that would be the entire round written out. And Schneider could not, like, for him, like, obviously, like, he might be a little bit dyslexic as well. So, like, looking at that, he would reference like, another round when looking at it and just do something else, and everyone would be like, what the fuck are you doing?
Why is this guy not following?
Why are you AFs? You're supposed to be B.
Oh, but yeah, I wanted to honor Angel a bit there. We certainly have to. Next, we're going to give 2 tournament previews. So the first one we'll start with is happening on the 12th. We're going into Fissure Playground. That's the next tournament. I'll say this, by the way. Fissure, there was some news that came out on bestof3.gg, bo3.gg. And it says, let me see, where is this? It says, sources, tournament organizer Fissure is facing serious financial troubles. Now, I'll tell you this, right? From what I heard from teams, I've never worked the event. I've never been to it. But what I heard from teams is that the way they're being looked after is very good. Talent say the same, who worked it as well. But previously, BetBoom, one of the betting sponsors, was like a big partner. Now they're just a sponsor. So they've had logistic budgets for teams cut. And the thing is, they've announced, right? This is Fissure 2. Then there's Fissure 3 in April, Fissure 4 in July, and then 9 more tournaments until 2028. I will say this, they were never a tier 1 organizer and they've jumped into tier 1. It's if they need money already, they got to find someone quick because you can't be running this bigger style events with these big teams. And there's some great teams going to this Fissure, yeah. But like, also it's in a great location in terms of Serbia because it's good for visas, so a lot of people can easily get there. It doesn't cost you your Schengen days as well if you're non-European like me. So it's a problem that like they might have bit off more than they can chew, but this is again just a rumor. So I just want to highlight that bit before we get into the tournament side because it's all well and good what's there. But let's have a look down the team list, by the way, is pretty stacked.
And they're doing a Swiss stage, by the way.
Yeah, but by the way, great format.
Yeah.
$1.25 million prize pool. Does it show us how it gets broken down? Yeah, so $2,000 for first place, $1,600 for club share. So they're doing the club share thing as well, which obviously incentives to make teams play in it. So Mongols, highest ranked team going there. Then G2, Aurora, Furia, Falcons, FaZe, 3D Max, Pain, Astralis, Tyloo, Game Legion, Liquid, Heroic, Linvision, Virtus Pro, Legacy. All games are on LAN, Swiss system, which is lots of games, which is great for VRS. A huge amount of points these teams can gain, you know?
Is it V1s?
No, all best of threes.
All best of threes. Nice.
All best of threes. I'm just looking at open matchups. Yeah, everything's best of three.
All right.
So literally the God format, same format PGL uses as well.
Yeah.
It'd be good for Mongols. They skipped London because they couldn't get visas. Same for Aurora. Good to see them back. G2 straight back into it, by the way. I messaged Hunter on Instagram. He'd get to go home at least to like see family for a couple of days, but needs to stay back on the practice, keep that grind going. Obviously, now they're probably coming in as like favorites alongside the Mongols.
Yeah.
Falcons
Furia.
need to show up big as well. Yeah. See them
Yeah,
back in action.
it's an interesting one. It's a lot of contenders in this tournament. If we obviously, possibly the three best ones are not there with Mouz, Vitality, and Spirit, but everyone else seems to be here, excluding your favorite team.
Yeah, no Na'Vi. No Na'Vi. Which it makes sense. I don't think Na'Vi would go to a.
But well, either way, yes, they wouldn't go to a Fissure event, first of all.
Because of
but
who owns
even
Fissure.
if we would eliminate the Fissure part of this,
Yeah.
I think it's probably a good thing for Na'Vi to get back into some practice grind and figure some stuff out. So I think the timing of it is probably good for them as well.
You know, the craziest thing here, though, is Liquid right now. Let's look at their VRS. VRS, Valve ranking, 30th.
30th.
They have to do well here, bro. Like, they are so cooked right now.
Can you actually check where Liquid is? Like, what tournaments are actually weighing into them? And what... You know what I mean?
They're going to this one and a local Polish land, which probably won't even be on HLTV. Let's have a look. What else is there? Liquid.
Because before, at least, you could... Either way, I'll be able to find that somewhere else. There's probably a website for this to check where they're gaining their points from.
They're entering some like Polish tournament, which is like won't probably even be on HLTV, and is like quite a low tier event.
But I could imagine that Liquid even have a couple of events that is going to disappear just straight out of decay, and matches from points because they haven't been doing very well in quite a while. They played some close games, but they haven't really picked up any points in that sense. So,
but it's just it's down a little bit up, down a little bit up, down. Now, right now, they're the lowest they've ever been.
Yeah, so I think they're in. Yeah, it's
right now
really
they won't qualify for the major, and that would then obviously force changes. I think because obviously Liquid's not gonna stomach that.
But what do you how do you want to do this? Do you want to kind of like go through the teams, the matchups one by one, as we normally do, that are present, or I
think we cover enough of these teams that are here, right? Like that we can just loosely touch on them as we go through the matchups, the opening matchups.
All right.
So click on the matches page, and we'll start at the top and work our way down.
Yep. So we're just reading out of a list we've already said to our producer just to avoid our copying
So
the
we're not-
answers of each other.
No cheating.
Yes.
So first game Allegiance Tai Lu.
Tai Lu.
Okay. Because I think still, I just don't believe in this Kersey. Even if I really like PR, Rez, and Ash, I think this team's still cooked. And also, they historically do bad in Swiss systems.
I follow my rule. I cannot bet on Gamer Legion in Swiss systems.
Yeah, okay, we're the same there. All right, next game, Mongols 3D Max.
Mongols.
Yeah.
That's pretty clear.
It's kind of obvious because like 3D Max did okay, right?
Yeah.
Like with this new IGL, it's a nice change up. They can catch some teams off guard, but I don't see enough of them to be able to challenge Mongols. Maybe they can take a map, you know?
No, but they're still a scary team and they can do some damage. So I don't think it will be. It's not an easy matchup by any means.
No. Falcons VP. Falcons VP with
Done
Perfecto
with
leading.
VP. Falcons all the way.
Wait, I love Perfecto, but this VP team is so cooked, man. Like, I could just see them getting absolutely stomped. 13-3,
Well,
13-4.
This would be the event where they give you hope, right? They beat
No,
Falcons in the opening.
No.
And then
Shut
the
up.
next event, we start predicting them and they fall flat again.
Stop talking.
Okay.
Stop it.
I'm over
Just
VP though.
Don't even
I just want
put
to
this into
poison your
anyone's
mind.
If there is any VP fans watching this, tell me why you are a VP fan. You have nothing to be a VP fan about right now. It's so rough. It's
Should
so
be a Paravision fan instead.
Maybe. Okay,
It's a
Aurora
game.
Astralis with Magisk. Aurora.
I took Astralis here.
Oh my god. Why? How can you reason this to me?
I can't.
Okay, so you can't even tell me why.
So
what is this?
I actually do think Astralis is a good team. I think
Yes,
they
but
can
they've-
shock people. I think that Hooksy as an in-game leader. I think if
I'm
he
agreed.
finds the pattern, which if Major calls in, they can do damage against Aurora. I think they're a perfect team for them to be able to set up in the way of countering, just because of Hooksy being IGL. So if Magisk is integrated well, which I assume will take almost no time at all. I actually don't think
into Hooksy system it might take him more time.
No, I don't think so.
No?
No, I think
Alright.
Magisk is experienced enough to kind of slot in and understand
Agree.
things.
But it's very
It
different
wasn't
to what he's
that
used
long
to.
ago, you know, he was almost beating Vitality with Falcons. So, and they won a couple of tournaments.
Okay.
I think he will have a positive impact on Astralis, and I think Hooksy is a perfect IGL to counter Major.
Yeah. Well, I'm believing in Aurora all the way because I just look at this. The individual skill right now is in Aurora's favor.
I'd agree on that.
And it's going to take some time for Astralis to get kicking. All right, Heroic Legacy. I've gone with Legacy.
I picked Heroic.
Okay. I'll give you why I picked Legacy, right? Because Legacy have been faltering. They have been falling down. And honestly, their recent results, they even lost to FlyQuest. It's rough. Logic would say that Heroic should be able to win this, right? Obviously, they lost to Tenier, which is a huge loss for them. Nilo's back, and I would say at times he looks good. I'm not sold on this team just yet. Alcaran had some moments, but I'm really lacking a player who can pop off consistently. And I feel like the style and what Legacy will throw at Heroic will just eat them up if they can get going in a few rounds.
Well, I think this is honestly the worst kind of matchup to predict. I think both Heroic and Legacy both are driven by momentum. I think for Heroic, I don't necessarily even think that Nilo is the key component to that. I think Youngster, when he gets a good game, when he starts flowing, he's the kind of X factor for this Heroic. And he needs to just have a good start. The same way I feel like Dumao is that for Legacy, where they could either win 13-0 or lose 13-0 at any point in any day. And I think obviously Heroic not having Saw anymore is a huge minus for them.
Yeah.
but they'll still have some of his teachings back in their mind still. It's not completely swept out of them. So I
That's
think
fair.
that is something that will pull Heroic through.
That's fair. All right. G2 Lin Vision. Pretty
I
obvious,
picked
right?
G2.
Yeah,
Even
what a
though
surprise. Don't.
Emilia
No.
Kak is one of my favorite players.
Bro, if he stands on a desk from even one kill, I'm happy. That's good enough for me. Let him go. Give him an ace and let him stand on a desk and go crazy. Everyone can
But
just get some more content.
they're super nice to watch. Even though I don't think it should be like a. If you look at the betting odds of this match, if it looks a little bit too one-sided towards G2's side, because Limvision every single time they've played against top European teams, they've actually done damage. They've made it scary for them, and they can definitely pick up a map in this series. Even though I will say G2. But yeah, don't sleep on the Invasion.
Yeah. FaZe Pain. FaZe.
I took FaZe as well.
Yeah. I think it makes sense because Pain's in a spiral again. Pain always do this, by the way. We get hyped on them. We see them do some good. And then it's like they keep getting invited to international events. Okay, you can beat an NIP or a big, but you can't even beat a Liquid. You can't even beat or take a map from a Mongols. You can't beat Astralis. Like they haven't played for a lot of time, not even in Brazil. So I'm hoping, by the way, they've been in Europe grinding, but I still don't think like they're gonna beat FaZe pound for pound.
I mean, I'll even say the worst stat of them all. They played close against Big, even though they won.
Yeah, that's sad. It's not a good
But
place to be in.
yeah, I think FaZe is on the up, even though they obviously got stomped in a way last game against G2, at least on one map, and the other one they probably should have had. But I'm expecting them to kind of be a little bit still positive about where they are at.
Yep.
And pick up a win against Pain.
Furia Liquid, the rematch from Blast Bounty, where Liquid actually beat them online, so it wasn't great for the VRS side of things. I'm picking Furia.
I'm picking Furia as well.
Furia on
I
LAN.
don't think we need to explain
Want
too
revenge.
much.
No, Liquid, by the way, every win here is so important for them, but they need to go deep in this tournament. I don't know what could have changed them. I'm pretty checked out on Liquid, I'll be honest. I believe in my boy Flashy. I think Nerds can be great at times. Twist has good moments as well, but it's very public that there are players that are not so happy in Liquid. They don't seem like they're a team that are playing together and connected at times. And I'm missing the ultimate of what we saw near the beginning of Liquid time as well.
Yeah. No, I think there's a lot of different discussions you can have about Liquid and what needs to be changed and what's negative. I feel like they need some player changes. But there's still some positives, but it's always grasping at straws positives. They maybe can get a win. They can make things close, but they can't really be able to pull themselves over the line. So, I mean, Furia to me, they're just a way better team, pound for pound. If you look at every single player on Furia and compare them to Liquid, you take Shui versus Fallen. I think Fallen is a better IGL and definitely more
better fragging IGL right now.
Yeah, right now,
which is wild compared to what we used to say about Shuhei in the past.
You can take, I don't know, Nerds versus Jakindar, Twist versus Caserato, Yuri
Twist, you might give
versus
him an edge there.
Naf,
Yuri
Molodoi
wins that.
versus Ultimate. I think that every
Molodoi
single
wins that.
player on Furia is better.
I think, exception of the Twist Caserato one. Yeah.
What?
Just because Caserato has some real slow off games. They're both in a similar way. Like, it really depends on the day. Really depends.
Caserato is incredible.
All right. All right, let's go through our playoffs then. Who's getting to playoffs, mate?
All right. Spicy one. So should I just say
let's go one by one. Let's go one by one.
Okay.
Mongols.
G2.
Aurora. Nice. You slowed down then. I thought you weren't going to say Aurora.
My list, Aurora is not the third
okay.
one on my list.
Furia.
Falcons.
FaZe. Tyloo. You had Tyloo as well?
Yeah.
I didn't think you picked Tyloo, bro. Okay. 3D Max.
I did not have 3D Max. I had Astralis.
I knew you'd have Astralis. Okay, we're pretty aligned.
Oh, nice mute.
Sneezed, but I muted my microphone. Yeah, you see that? I sneezed.
Yeah, those skills.
Muted.
That's broadcasting talent.
Oh, we got to keep that in for the show just for fun. All the only listeners have no idea what's going on, but I did just dramatically sneeze. Everyone could see it on the camera. Okay, so that's where we're at with Fissure. Overall, it's a good event. I hope their financial troubles are not as real as what the rumors are. It's good club share money in there. It's very important for VRS, and obviously it's also very good to have.
We should also do the winners as well.
Oh yeah, I had winners Mongols.
Mongols winners as well.
You had Mongols winners as well. I thought you put G2. By the way, I think that even though
I'm the biggest Mongols fan in the world.
Yeah, but I'm not even the biggest Mongols fan. I'm just saying G2 playing against Mongols, it gets real interesting.
Yes.
Real interesting.
But my heart is with Mongols.
I'm not even going for a heart. I just think like it can be a banger of a game, but Mongols take that over the line.
It's going to be interesting no matter what.
And then we got another event preview for you all guys. As we are nearly at the 2-hour mark, we're going to go through this. We didn't say it was going to be a quick episode, so no one can complain. We're going on to Star Series Starladder Fall 2025. Now, this is quite an interesting one because Starladder is back. They have been away for such a long time. They have got the next major. It's happening in Budapest, Hungary. I'm excited for this because if people didn't know, I will be a little bit biased here. Starladder is the reason I moved to Ukraine in 2019. They got me set up here. I built my life here. I got to meet my wife, my friends. Like my life now is here because of these guys. And I'm so thankful for that. So I'm just happy to have these people I know and work with are back. Now, for the event itself, talent's going to be online, but the players are going to be on LAN, so it is LAN games. It's all best of threes, including the grand final, which I'm not a fan of, but there's a lot of games. There's a whole lot of lower brackets. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 matches to be played here. No club shares or anything. 200,000 for first, 130,000 for second, 70,000 for third, 40,000 for fourth, 56, 20, 7 to 8 attempts. So everyone gets a little bit. Teams, you obviously did the qualifiers for this, right? So
yes.
You saw Paravision, 9, Gentlemates, and OG qualify. Passion UA, which is basically Complexity plus Kvem, and Kvem and TC. Bait, Nip, and Na'Vi are attending. Na'Vi is the biggest name there by a long way. They are over 10 ranking points away from anyone else. That is the big dogs. And it's a good experience for them.
Yes, very good. It's an interesting list. I obviously, as you mentioned, I did not watch Passions, but I did watch OG, Gentlemates, and 9 in this qualifier. And Paravision as well. I think Paravision is someone that they look to be back. James have finally found the kind of young squad with him recently taking over the in-game leader role again. They obviously have Dustin, huge experience on the coaching side. And
that's
they have
a dream team.
Yeah, they have some really, really exciting young stars coming into this. And obviously with James' brand of Counter-Strike, we all know what that looks like. Very controlled, very thought out and calculated Counter-Strike. Looks exciting. But for me, I think, obviously it's really sad for 9, who doesn't get to go with Fusi. Fusi qualified with 9 to this event with Ralph Favenkragen and Cjot. They're now playing with Modo for this event. Various coach. Gentlemates actually look great, by the way.
Okay.
This Spanish squad. They have a little bit of that.
Recently.
No, but they have a little bit of that movie star riders when they're actually great, when they were at that top 15, 14 in the world kind of state.
How is Martinez doing there?
Great.
Okay.
Yeah. And
'Cause they
Davy
only
G
got
is a
5th to
beast
6th.
now. I
They
don't know
only
what
got 5th to
happened.
6th for Draculan. Losing to Monty and Ents. Lost to our boy Rigon.
Yeah, but Regan is a different beast, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, but they looked great in the qualifier at least. And OG, I think, to me, OG is actually one of the favorites to win this event. I think they've on eye test they look amazing right now.
Wait a sec. Say that again.
OG is one of the favorites to win this event.
OG's one of the favorites to win the event.
Yes.
You know, there's Na'Vi here.
Yes.
Okay. You must have seen something I ain't quite seen yet. They're playing a hell of a lot of CS right now. They're
Yes.
entering everything. They're in everything. They're qualifying for things. They did lose the Simples BC
But we
game.
can go to the predictions and see how
Paravision already.
spicy it actually looks from my part
Yeah,
if you're saying it like that.
But you didn't. I don't know. Let's see. Let's see then. Okay, so we've gone through it. It's an interesting event because of the teams that are there. So first game, Bait Paravision.
Bait Paravision. I have Paravision.
I have Bait.
Yep.
I believe in those boys, and I know how much they can cause these kind of ruckus, crazy games. And I think it's quite an even matchup in there.
I'm a little bit not worried. Completely obvious who's going to win. It's very even.
I'm a little bit worried on map pool. I'll say that. I'm a little bit worried on the map pool. The map pool and the IGL difference is where Paravision can take the lead.
Yeah, I
did have to and ah with this. I was very much
like James might be in their head. That's all I'm gonna say.
Bro, James in everyone's head anyway. Like he's having his fap moment before he plays his game. You know, he's just rocking. Oh, I gotta get it out of me before game time.
I got some weird image in my head right there.
Audio
Let's
only
talk about something
you did not
else.
have to see this, luckily. But yeah, James loves to knock one out before he gets into game to make sure he is focused and in the zone. So your Paravision, I'm Bait. NIP OG.
I have OG.
I have NIP. Now, NIP did just lose the North American land to NRG. It's embarrassing. That's not great. They lost 3-1 as well, but it was with Smooya standing in. OG, on the other hand, some of their results aren't too bad, but they already didn't beat Paravision. They lost to Bet Boom. They lost the BC game with Simple, but BC game aren't that great. They also beat him not too long after that. So it's like, you've seen OG and I've seen Nip more. So I was on the Nip side.
Yep. Oh, I think it's a tough matchup for both teams.
A lot of these matchups are low-key bangers, by the way.
Yeah. I think the only real obvious one for me is Na'Vi winning against 9.
Okay. Wait, we haven't got there yet.
Oh, fuck.
Stop skipping ahead. Passion
my
UA,
bad.
Gentlemates.
Gentlemates.
Passion UA. Okay, we're completely opposite today.
Yeah.
Because Passion UA is not Passion Ukraine so much anymore. It's them Ukraine and everyone else from all over the world. For me, it's the Complexity squad back with TC. I'm expecting them now to have had some time, do some work, and come in very strong. I think they can have a deep run here.
No, I think Kvem is really freaking good. But I had Gentlemates just because of what I saw. They looked... It's kind of this like no-stop Spanish Counter-Strike. You know, they are very explosive. It's very much like, for the older viewers, like the VP Plow to a sense. Like once they start going, they just give you no room to breathe. And some of their players seem to be in really good forms. So I think Passions, maybe they haven't really incorporated Kvem to the point where he's like fully comfortable with switching to a different language and playing to, you know, obviously, all of that stuff it's hard to kind of to know how much time that will take. So I put Gentlemates here to actually make a little bit of an upset.
Okay, well, we're completely against each other, but there's one more game. Na'Vi versus 9. Na'Vi. Cool. Especially 9 lost FaZe as well. But
yeah, I think that's the key. He was really instrumental in them qualifying. So
yeah, that's the kicker for him. Now, because it is just a double elimination bracket. We can't really go through who's going to make playoffs. So, who's winning it all?
I put OG.
I don't know what you've seen or what's happened to you or who from OG's paying you some money on the side here, but you are absolutely cooked crazy.
Am I?
How do you think you're ever going to be hired as an analyst for jobs if you say this?
Okay.
OG.
Who do you think is going to win?
Navi.
How much do you expect to ever get hired as an analyst?
I'm not an analyst, luckily.
If you have these predictions.
You can't throw that back on me, bro.
Yes, I can.
Throw that back on me. I'm just saying.
Pick Inferno, win game.
Best of one? Is that what you're hoping for?
No, I'm just saying they're 1-0 up in every single best of 3 if they do it.
Okay. But this is Blade.
Eventually, Navi will falter. They will slip, my friend. They will slip.
I'm just going to say this, right? For Star Series, considering how far above Navi are and what they're trying to do with getting some LAN experience, some extra points in here, right? They can't attend the Fissures because obviously Fissure, Russian-owned thing, you know? That's not going to happen. So this is an important event for them. They are going to come in. Blade is going to have them well drilled. They're going to dominate. They're going to smash the competition. They're going to walk over everyone, show them who's boss. They can drop a map here or there, but they should cruise through this game. They should cruise through the tournament. They should be looking out and going, not cocky, not overconfident, but showing them there is a level to this, and you guys are not there.
I worry for your statements, my friend.
Well, this could be used against me and held against me.
Yes, but I think that Navi right now, with the problems they're having, is much closer to these teams than you imagine. I don't think that that's their ceiling. I'm saying this is the pit where they've descended to.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if they've dug themselves out of it. So I think they're even Steven with like NIP, OG right now, as an example. And if they don't fix it, they'll keep dropping to that level in terms of rankings. I think they have a little bit of a heightened, obviously, ranking comparably to what they're showing in the game.
Mm-hmm.
So I expect Navi to at least have a rough time. And I do see Navi is the favorite. Of course they are the favorites.
Yes.
But I want to throw in OG could be a potential winner. I want to highlight that and make it fun.
Well,
and also, guys, you have no idea how much this stresses BanKs out. Look at his face. That makes it so much more enjoyable.
Audio only listeners, my face is completely normal. Nothing wrong. I'm just
it's not.
Away.
He's
no
a
fear
big
in my hands.
fat liar.
Nothing at all. Is it working?
It's working.
Oh dear. Well, we are done for another episode 25. Thank you very much, Devilwalk, for rocking it with us once again. We covered a lot in this one, a lot of news, a lot on London, going into 2 previews of the tournaments. We're giving you predictions, we're giving you the previews, we're giving you some overview of the teams. Devilwalk's crazy thoughts on OG, my very biased, probably stupid belief in Navi, but I've got to hope, pray that this is going to happen. Please, if you're watching on YouTube, subscribe, like, leave a comment. Also, just let us know what you might want to see more of in the podcast. I know last time people said about the Devil walkthroughs. We're trying to do more of that. We had a good one on FaZe last episode. Obviously, it takes a lot of time for him to do this, so it's not going to be every single time. But feedback is always good. We are listening. We are chiming in. We're rocking it with all of you guys to understand exactly what we can do to make this podcast better. Devilwalk, anything from you?
Follow our TikTok.
Oh, yeah. He's always remembering the TikTok. What is it?
It's all about CS podcast.
There we go. All about CS podcast on TikTok. We want to be able to grow on the TikToky world. We're doing good on we're up at 800,000 views, nearly 1 million on YouTube right now. That's a milestone. That's crazy. And again, it's only been 9 months of us doing the podcast, 25 episodes, All the love and support is massively appreciated. Thank you for the regular viewers. Thank you for the new viewers. Much love to all of you who love Counter-Strike. We are all about Counter-Strike. We're trying to be the best and most different podcast we can out there. Bring our own unique vibe on it. Thank you very much for watching. See you next time.